Good morning, everybody. This is Lily Rudolph from Align Marketing, and I'm here today with the gorgeous Jodi Porteous of the Intentional Money Management. So welcome, everybody. I will quickly introduce myself, tell you a little bit more about how these sessions will run, and then bring on the gorgeous Jodi so we can get going. So I'm Lily Rudolph from Align Marketing. For those that don't yet know me well, I am a niche and personal brand mentor for service-based entrepreneurs in the early phases of their business. I specialize in helping my clients to gain clarity and confidence in their niche and create a personal brand that feels powerful and authentic whilst allowing them to be themselves. So my zone of genius is helping you to clarify and articulate who you are, what you do, and for whom, in a way that has your dream clients sit up and take notice. So welcome today to you all, and especially to Jodi. In these sessions, we will spend 20 minutes going through, doing some coaching on a particular area, usually niche or personal brand. And I will guide you through the steps that you can take next to really move forward and gain clarity around the particular topic. For those that are watching, welcome. Good morning, Deb. Thank you for joining us live. For those that are watching the replay, #replay. And I really encourage you also to get involved. Please feel free to add in the comments anything that resonates with you and support or any ideas that you may have for our guests. We can all learn from each other, and I encourage you to participate. So we will get the session along for 20 minutes. I also invite you to, if you would like to be in the hot seat, to join along. It's a great way to get some professional feedback and brainstorming on your particular issue. And also, as a sneaky side effect, it's a great way for you to showcase your own business. So without further ado, I will bring Jodi on, and Jodi has beautiful business, Intentional Money Management. So Jodi, welcome. Thank you so much for being brave enough to be my first guest. I really appreciate that. And if you could just tell us a little bit more about your business, what brought you here today, and what you would love to really cover and get out of our session together.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's super exciting. I started intentional money management last year. I've been teaching people how to manage their money and providing inspiration and tools for people to do that over the last 5 years, and wanted to bring more structure to the business. And throughout working over those last 5 years, I really, really loved working with couples and families and watching them blossom and grow together as a team rather than just individuals. So I know there's a lot of individual money management tools and resources out there, but when I work with couples, it's just, to see the love that they have once they've gone through some of my training is just like, yeah, this is cool. So I really want to figure out how to work out how couples are my niche, how to talk to them, how to really define who it is that I want to work with. And knowing that messaging to two people and not one is really tricky. So is it one person in the couple that I need to talk to, or is it, I don't know.
So thank you, Jodi. In terms of couples, who have you found in the past have been those kind of couples that have had the greatest result from you, or you've connected with the most, is the one question. And I guess the other one, and maybe we should do it one at a time, is who do you find usually will put their hand up to work with you?
Yeah. It's a tricky one. So generally it's the woman, and like it's been a lot of heterosexual, but I'm not disclaiming any other type of partnership either. But it's normally the woman. Sometimes it's the person who doesn't feel like they have control. So they're the ones who are being taken along with the partner who thinks they know more than the other. So they're the uncertain and unsure one. They bring their partner along and they do the coursework together, and the partner's sitting there going, yeah, I knew that. Yep, I knew that. And I knew that. But I'm like, so why didn't you do it? Why didn't you implement it? So having that third party as the buffer or the relationship between the two is where I've found that I've been able to fit.
Okay.
And then, but that's not all of the time. So other times I've had the person who's been in control of the money who's come and said, look, my partner's doing stupid things, not listening to me. Can you bring him along or bring them along for the ride? So it's been a mixed bag, which is why it's been tricky to nut down who I need to talk to.
Okay, so I think there's the two sides. The one is the actual couple and where they are in their journey. So when it's, I guess, the type of couple that you want. You know, I know we've spoken before and you said you don't want the people that are completely clueless, for lack of a better word. And it's probably not clueless. It's those that aren't ready to take control, those that are not ready to be empowered. So we want to talk to those that are on the path and go, okay, this is not comfortable. This is not where we want to be. We want to be in place X. So where would you say they are today when they finally go, oh, you know, it's time to do something about it?
Generally, they know there's something bigger and better out there for them. So some of the triggers that my previous clients have had are they've been wanting to invest in a business or start up a business. They've want to send their children away for boarding school, so they know that there's a lot of fees and money associated with that. But I've also had the clients who earn good money, but they're drowning in the debt repayments. So they've got a few investment properties or whatever, and they know they're making good money. They're just struggling to make ends meet at the moment. Got too many clients.
I think, though, that there is some commonality. Because so far what I'm hearing from you is you've got clients who have a consistent source of income.
Yes.
They are feeling frustrated because they've got the money in, but they are not able to invest in or to have the dream life that they think that they want.
Yep.
Probably because of a money management issue and a goals, not goals, but almost a values issue on the other hand, which is where you have the one side of the couple that does all the admin or takes control of all the paperwork, so to speak, and the other one who just buys, or arguably the other one who organizes stuff at home. But that can often be disjointed between the one that buys all the groceries, you know, is not necessarily the one who's worrying about the spreadsheet they have. And I think that that's probably where the discourse comes in, as you say. So arguably you've spoken about control as well. And I think that that is probably a very big part of it, because both of those people don't feel in control. And I think that that's where they come to you.
Yes.
But they're controlling their little piece, but they don't feel in control of their lives. They don't feel that they're taking themselves or creating their life that they want. They're almost on the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're
holistic control where they're not on the same path walking the same level of control. As like, I've got my little bit of control over here and I've got my little bit of control over there, but they're fighting.
Well, they're fighting that, and that comes back to control as well. They're both potentially on the path where they're trying to gain control of their future, and we're each individual, so we're trying to assert our own control because we individually believe it should be done this way.
Yeah.
And that's where the discourse comes in, because we understand things differently, we spend differently. And that's where your genius comes in, because you now show them, like, we can all play and be friends. Let's just get the vision together. Let's get on the same page. Let's align our values so that we can create the dream life that you're looking for in a consistent, loving, hopeful, calm kind of way. How does that sound?
Love it.
Okay, great. So if we're going to come back to a short definition of niche, we've got, and also just want to remind everybody that when we define a niche, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and tell everybody exactly these are all the elements of our niche, right? The niche definition in the first instance is for you to really get clear on who the people are that you love to serve, who the people are that you best serve, who the dream clients are that, you can't wait to get out of bed and work with them. And when we have that full definition, we can move to the next stages of implementing our messaging and talking to them and finding them and all of those sorts of things. So Jodi, if we come back to bring that niche in a little bit tighter, we've got married couples with or without a family, or you want with a family?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So let's just talk married couples. You could talk about families in some of your content, should you prefer, but let's go back to married couples, double income, or it doesn't even have to be double income. Let's make it married couples with a consistent or reliable income.
Yep.
And as I say this, we may need two avatars here, being the business people and the regulars. And that sounds terrible when I say it like that. But I know that, we've mentioned before that you have the one component where the couples work together as a business.
Yeah.
Now that in itself is a niche, right? So it's but because you're kind of feeling your space and who you would love to work with, let's define the high level and call them the two separate avatars, the ones that are in business together, because I think anything you do with them personally is going to naturally move into, how we do one thing is how we do everything. Yeah. So we have married couples, consistent income, they have a dream, they know they've got money, but they cannot understand where it's going at the end of the day. May or may not have debt, but the bottom line is they are feeling out of control. They are feeling that they are not moving forward to create a life that they want. And you are now going to take them from conflict within the relationship. You're going to take them from frustration and uncertainty of where they are today in terms of their finances and where they are today in some cases in terms of their relationship. So it's also, I guess, deciding that we want to work with couples where they're starting to feel the friction, but it's not so far gone that they aren't, that it's almost marriage counseling, right? They're starting to feel the friction. They're ready to do something about it. They know something has to change, and they want to feel empowered. How does that feel?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, great. Brilliant. So now it's really, I don't, when you're saying which part to, who to talk to, and if we being very general, I was going to say and talk heterosexual. How do we do this in a PC way? It's really, you've got it really does, there really is no traditional, the man does this, the woman does this, or the one partner does this or that. So let's talk partner A is the one that is feeling like they need to live life, but partner B is telling them, you can't spend on that, you can't spend on that. You know, why did you buy, you know, the deli cheese?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then you got the other side where they're trying to manage their finances, they've done the budget, and they can't seem to get their partner to just spend in the right places. So I think it's talking to your clients about joint values. It's really understanding their greater vision of what we've covered, but now there's that separate element that you're so passionate about, is getting on the same page. I mean, this is the solution, right? We get you on the same page with your values. We find a way for you both to be able to spend the money in a way that lights you up. And I'm not very familiar with the profit first, but I know it's probably a little bit the same as, you know, you'd have a kitty for joyful spending or something, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So you can show them that there is a way to have money to spend in whichever way tickles your fancy. As any partner, there is a way to have a greater vision for your life and articulate that and have that as a living document. And that's where you come in. You really facilitate, bringing the dream alive, if that's the right way of putting it. And that is through your methods, through your coaching, through being a safe space to allow them to not only articulating their dreams is actually the second step. The first one is actually helping them to identify where the friction is coming from, where their spending habits may be coming from, where their need of control may be coming from.
Yeah. And
then helping them, holding their hands to translate that into a joyous, joyful spending and saving plan, I guess.
Yeah.
Really, I think I need to come and be your client. That sounds very good. and we all know that probably every single couple on this planet could do with this kind of work to some degree or another. So, how's that feeling for you?
Yeah, feels really, really comforting, like really grounding. Exactly how I want to show up. So
okay, amazing. So what do you think could be the next step for you here? Is there enough clarity and juice in what we've discussed so far, or is there anything further to nut into?
I think there's definitely more.
Okay.
Definitely. But probably not on this call.
Well, it's not 7 minutes up our sleeve. We've gone great guns. I've put on a timer for myself because, I need to make sure we stick to our time and appreciate everybody's time today. So what do you feel then would be the next step? Where can we get some greater clarity here for you for the next, either delving deeper into their issues or how to attract them? What's feeling like the next step for you here?
Yeah, so I think I've got the issues all over. Like, I know so many issues. It's the what wording or what terminology to attract them.
Okay, so tell me the issues.
So I think we've been through a few of them already.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to get your words. Yeah.
That internal conflict of my partner frustrates me because he spends all of my money or she spends all of the money, and without a thought to what else we're doing. That's probably the biggest one.
So what I hear from that is it's really boils down to people feeling potentially unheard in their marriage or partnership or money making thing. So when you're looking at it, it's talking to ready to make a change. It's talking to the frustration, as you say, of I am trying my best to get to our vision, but my partner doesn't seem to be on board.
Yeah.
And that's where you can come in on the messages that your partner is probably saying the same thing, right? And it's just that you've learned how to spend differently. How you spend is one, a learned behavior, and two, a values behavior. Because some people believe you should save, and others might believe, the only way to make money is to invest every cent you have. And actually, both of those are the same value in keeping us safe, in bringing more money into our family, right?
Yeah.
But the couple may not see that because it's a very different lens. So I think things like talking to them on the frustration of being unheard in their relationship, on loving their partner and wanting to create a dream life together without the frustration, and some belief shifting that you could talk about really is those values, and show how they have the same value, they're just coming from a different place.
Yeah.
And that shows your expertise also in the coaching component and the bigger picture component, because this is not about money, right? This is about safety. This is about being seen and heard and just living your dreams, because that's what control usually comes down to. So I would encourage you, when you look at the word control, maybe spend some time and start putting in all the things what control looks like, what control feels like, and what causes you to hold on so tightly to the control. And I think that you'll get a very wide outcome of different feelings, different fears, different values that will all come back to feeling out of control now, wanting to be in control, and wanting to just have a loving relationship with your partner and build a dream life together, because that's why they came together. It's the same thing when we have kids, right? Very often, for those that are parents, you'll come together and suddenly you'll realize how different you and your husband maybe were raised, because you now have very different views on how to raise the little people. And it's the same here with your spending.
Correct.
So yep. I think look around that, and then you can talk to the practical side and you can talk to the emotional side. And really your people will come to you on the emotional side because they're frustrated, because they were, starting to have friction in their marriage, because they want to create that dream life. They know they can, they just don't know how to. And then with the other side, with the more practical side of your messaging, you will show them that they can feel safe with you. You can show them that you have the solutions and that they're actually not so hard. But those two components need to work together. That the practical, having a budget, paying your taxes, all of those sorts of things alone aren't going to get you your dream life. On the other side, kumbaya and having, a little kind of love fest, which I think we should all have with our partners and learn how to communicate.
Yep.
But that alone as well won't get them to their dreams, because now they're just talking, and talk doesn't get us there. We actually need action. And I think another great thing that you can say is you can help teach them honest discussion around a very sticky and inflamed topic. Because, you know, often we can talk about things, but we hold back that deepest, darkest secret because it's just too scary to share, or we feel that our partners may get angry or upset. And what you do is help them feel safe and help them learn how to talk about those deepest, darkest secrets. And when they can do that, we can have the real vision. Everybody can get what they need to feel in control. And then we're going to put it into action.
Amazing. I love that. Yep.
Yep.
The practical and the emotional, that's the two bits that tie it all together, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. It very much is. And that's our time. Keep talking, it's okay.
No, just like 20 minutes, like, wow. So much clarity. So yeah, like this is
Brilliant.
Exactly what I needed.
I love it. So Jodi, I'm going to ask you your biggest aha and what you're going to take away from this call to next steps to move you forward now.
I think my biggest aha is just that final piece we talked about, how there's the practical and the emotional side of money management. It's two pieces, and that's built into my workshop and everything, but I hadn't been able to articulate that. So that's the biggest aha for me. And so now I've got that confidence that I can go and start articulating that with the clients that I'm meeting, and that you can't have one without the other. You have to have both.
Amazing.
Yeah, brilliant.
Awesome. So you'll start putting some of that together. Yay! Well, Jodi, thank you so much for joining me today. I had loads of fun, as I always do when I have these discussions, and I'm so glad you got some great value. Thank you, Deb, for joining us, and for everybody else who's watched the replay, #replay. And also, just before we go, I would like to just tell you all about a niche breakthrough session that I offer. So if you are ready to finally get some clarity on that you've been claiming on your niche so that you can start to consistently call in your dream clients, I have the niche breakthrough session. And this is a 90-minute session where you will get crystal clear on who your dream client is, how you can best serve them, what they need to know to put your hand up and say yes, and then walk away with a plan of action and the next steps to really start to magnetize those that you love to work with. So these sessions are valued at $297, and I'm offering them to the members of the Align Marketing Hub for just $200. So if you would love one of those spots, send me a DM. If you've got any questions, send me a DM. And we can take it from there. So thank you so much for being with us today. Jodi, thank you for being our first guest. And reminder again, if you'd like to be on the hot seat, send me a DM and I will send you the link to apply. So have a wonderful day, everybody, and lots of love.